are so glad that you joined us today. Isn't it a great day? It's just a wonderful day. This is the day that the Lord hath made, and we will rejoice and will be glad in today. I'm always glad when you drop by. Today we're going to do something because, you know, it's that chilly outside and cold and holidays are over and it's time to like settle in for the new year and to really be thinking about what does God want me to do with this new year? What about all the things that didn't get accomplished last year? Well, you always get a clean slate at the beginning of the year, and this is your clean slate. And today, we're going to make some food that helps us to sit and think about that. We're going to make a bunch of different kinds of soup, because this is definitely soup weather. And you can get a mug full, you can get a bowl full, you can have it as a snack, you can have it as a main meal, you can have your friends over and have a soup buffet, whatever. But we're going to give you some varieties, not the ones that you've probably seen before, but something a little bit different. And we know you're going to enjoy it. Again, as I said, we are standing on the threshold of a brand new year. And God is ever faithful. He brought us through last year, going to bring us through this year. And those things that you thought would come into fruition last year and didn't, don't be sad. It just wasn't the right timing, but perhaps this year. Just keep having faith. Keep believing it's going to happen. Keep praying about it, asking God, get everything in line that needs to be in line so that this can come to pass, what you've placed in my heart. And you know, He's faithful to do that. He really will. So thankful that God is ever present, ever faithful, and He cares about you. What concerns you concerns the Lord. So I would just admonish you, why not do that? It would be a good day to just say, Lord, whatever you have for me, you orchestrate my steps this year. And I want to walk in your path because I know at the end of the year, it will be a path of victory. Well, stay with us. Here's today's at-home hint. Then we're starting with our soups. We'll be right back. Here's today's at-home hint. Always make stock in a large quantity and freeze it in plastic bags. That way, when you want to make a nice soup or boil veggies, you can simply pull a bag out of the freezer, drop it into some hot water to thaw, and it's ready to use.
If you have an at-home hint, a favorite recipe, or just a friendly greeting you'd like to share, we'd like to hear from you. Post it in the comments of this video or visit our Facebook page.
Well, Patty and I are here huddled around the stove because we're cooking soups today, and you got to do it.
Oh, yes.
And you're going to make a lasagna soup. How about that for good flavors?
That sounds wonderful.
Okay, what do we start with here, Patty?
A pound of Italian sausage, that bulk Italian sausage.
Sweet sausage,
yes.
yeah.
And
And
so
you just
we
want
just
to brown it.
browned it all up.
And that's what we've done. Larry, can you get that for us? Nicely browned and all in little bits, little pieces. You want to break it up. And you want to get rid of any excess grease. But there wasn't much on that, was
No,
there?
there was very, very little.
Okay, tell us the other ingredients for
And
this.
then we put in carrots,
Okay.
butcher 2 cups of chopped carrots, 2 cups of finely chopped onions, and then you let them simmer, and then you add your mushrooms and garlic. Let that simmer, and then you
Just
add
for a couple
your,
of minutes, not a long time.
Yeah, just a few minutes, and then your soup sauce and your crushed tomatoes.
Cool. Okay. All right, and then we're going to add some spinach at the very end.
Spinach and noodles.
Okay, great. Now, mine, I'm making homemade. If you like creamy tomato soup, you're going to like this one. Because you can either make it with fresh tomatoes, which would be like 6 big, really ripe tomatoes, or you can get a can of 28-ounce. I use the crushed tomatoes and then put them in the food processor or blender or something like that, just to get them nice and smooth. Now, to that, I have this in my pan here. And just going to stir them around. We got to keep checking the heat on this stuff. Okay, how are you over there? You okay?
Yeah, I think it's good.
All right, good. Now I'm going to add some onion because I've got to put some flavor in with the tomato. So we're going to add some onion, like so. And I want to add just a little bit of white sugar to sweeten it up. And that's our sugar. Let me see, what else? Some salt. A little bit of salt, and I think that's probably it for now. But we're going to let that cook, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe a little bit of pepper. Let's do some pepper. There we go. Okay. And we're going to let this come to a boil. You know, soups are such a great addition. I know people eat soup you think, oh, it's only a winter meal. It really isn't. It's an all year long meal. And I don't know of anybody who doesn't, even in your, like you go out to a fine restaurant, they will give you 1 cup of soup in the hottest of weather. And it's amazing how many people.
I love soup. I can eat it every day.
I do too. I think it's really good for you. And I think
Nice variety of it. Yeah.
Absolutely. I'm going to go ahead and fire this up a little bit.
Yeah, these are
Because
starting
once
to
this
cook.
cooks a little bit, then we're going to put it through a strainer, because we don't want these big chunks of onion in there. We want to strain those out. And all yours stays in your soup though, right?
Yes, mine all
Okay.
stays in.
Good.
I think this is going to be really good.
I think you're right. I think it will too.
I'm excited about it.
And I think the smaller you cut the carrots, the better it is, because that gives them a chance to cook quickly.
Carrots
Yeah.
take a while. They're so hard.
Oh yeah. The smaller the better. Mm-hmm. I know Paul and I, we love soup. I almost always have chicken noodle or something like that in my freezer, because I make a big pot. If you go to the trouble of making soups, why not make a big pot full and then use some of it, but put it in containers, put the date on it, put what kind it is, pop it in your freezer.
Yeah. With my crew, that doesn't work. We
Yeah.
go through the big pot.
Well, sometimes we get a little tired of it if I make a big pot. So rather than do that, I put it away. Then you appreciate it in a month when you bring it out and say, oh, let's have some more of that soup, and it's good.
Yeah.
It's amazing what just putting it in the freezer does. That's great. Okay, so we're
Saves
cooking.
time.
You're cooking there. She's adding the
Add my
mushrooms.
Mm-hmm. And then the garlic. There's a lot of garlic.
That is a lot of garlic, but boy, is that going to flavor it. Oh, it's going to be awesome.
That was like,
Awesome.
I want to say 8 little
Cloves.
cloves. It was like a lot of garlic.
Yeah, but you know that really
That
gives
does.
it. When you think of lasagna, you think of a garlic
Garlic.
flavor too, because why
And
not?
Personally, I love garlic.
Yeah.
I mean, love, love, love garlic.
And
Anything
you know,
in
you
it.
could. I think this is interesting how you serve this soup. At the end, she's going to put some pasta in, and she's got some other stuff that goes in there.
Right.
But when you serve it, you put some cheese, chunks of cheese in the bowl, and you pour the soup over it, and it melts that provolone or mozzarella cheese. Hello. The
Yeah,
only
you
other
can't go
thing we
wrong.
could need on top of that would be maybe a little dollop of sour cream.
Oh,
That would be
yes.
nice because
Yeah.
you know the ricotta that's usually in lasagna.
Yeah,
That might be nice
would be
with
a
that.
nice
So we'll have to think about
work
that. Okay.
on that, yeah.
We're cooking here.
And I think we have sour cream back there,
We
too.
do.
I think we do.
We're going to put some in there. Mine's still coming up and still cooking. And you know what? We're going to go ahead and take a break. Let this get cooking. When we come back, some more soups. We'll be back in just a minute.
Do you love watching At Home with Arlene Williams? Then be sure to check out our new YouTube channel. It's filled with classic episodes from over 20 years of At Home, and more videos are added each day. And don't forget to click the subscribe button so you'll never miss another episode of At Home.
Well, if you just joined us, Patty and I are doing soup, and more soup today. And we've already made 2 pots. You made
Lasagna soup.
lasagna soup, and I made homemade cream of tomato soup. And we have them in the oven on 200 to keep them nice and hot because we're going to do a soup buffet. All right? Now, I'm making, this is something I made up for Paul and me. This is my potato corn chowder soup. And all I have here is about 8 potatoes that we've cut in chunks, like so. And we just put them on, cover them with water. And I put some butter in there, and I just let them cook down really slow. It's like almost you're making mashed potatoes, the original kind, but you just let them keep cooking down. And you want to use a potato like a russet because they have good starch content. Because what's going to happen when these keep cooking down, they're going to render that starch and they're going to get thick. And that's what you want. Now, we've been cooking these for about 20, 25 minutes.
Yeah.
They're nice and tender. They're nice and soft. They'll start to break apart, and that's okay. You want that to happen. This is a chowder. Now, because potatoes don't always have a real strong base to make a soup, I've added a couple of chicken bouillon cubes just to beef up that foundation that you're making the soup on, and that's why this is so yellow here. Now, what we're going to do, I'm going to add some salt to this because you need to salt your, potatoes love salt. And this is coarse salt. Looks like a lot, but it really isn't because it's just thicker. And I'm going to add a little bit of onion. And Patty, could you turn that fire up on that for me a little bit?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to trying this one.
Yeah, the onion's going to flavor it.
Yeah.
Now, if it cooks down too much, You can add a little bit of hot water. Don't ever put cold water in, because then you have to start the whole process over again, and it stops that rendering of the starch. You know, it just doesn't work well. But when you get to this point, really all you're going to do is put the onion in there. You want it to stay in there, and you want it to be nice and tender. And then you take, now the first time I made this, I had made some fresh, cut off the cob creamed corn for dinner, and we had some left over. So the next night I was thinking, oh, what am I going to make? So I took that homemade creamed corn. If you have that in your freezer, put it in this. But if you don't, cream-style corn, 2 cans, straight from the can, put that right into that potato soup. Oh, thank you. And then, just like that, and you want to let that cook for a little while.
Oh, that's going to be good.
Oh, yeah, definitely. And it's nice and thick. So while this is cooking, tell us what the...
Okay, I'm making Chinese egg soup.
Oh, okay. That sounds good.
And it's very simple. And I
Yeah.
know this is something my dad really likes. So
Oh, does he?
yes, I'm like really excited to learn how to do this. I can make him
Sure,
egg
you make
soup.
it for him. Yep.
And it's 4 cups of chicken broth.
Which these little boxes that they have now are so incredible, because you don't have to worry about throwing the can away and putting, if you want to save it, you don't use it all, you just flip the lid, stick it back in the fridge.
And you
They're
have
so
it.
convenient. That's great. And it's got a good flavor. You can get it with low sodium if you can't do the salt and you're watching that. And they have it in beef, they have vegetable, I think even they have it in fish stock now.
I'm sure they do.
So it's all good.
Okay, and then it's mushrooms, just like a 1/4 cup of finely chopped
Do
mushrooms.
you have your heat on under that?
Yes.
No.
No, I don't.
There we go.
Thought I did.
This, you know, we've all been with this stove for at least 15, 20 years, and we still have trouble remembering which dial goes with which burner. I don't know, it's just we're all challenged, you know, with that. But it's okay.
Okay, and then soy sauce.
Soy sauce.
2 tablespoons of that.
Okay.
And then frozen peas. And you bring it to a boil, and then you add your egg.
So you don't thaw the
No,
peas.
put them in
Okay.
frozen, because it'll thaw in the soup.
Right. Yeah, because they're already, when they freeze them, they're at their peak. You know, for a long time, frozen food's got a really, especially vegetables and fruit, get a bad rap. Oh, you know, frozen, who wants frozen? But you know, sometimes they're better and fresher tasting than the ones that you get fresh, because the ones you get fresh are shipped all over the country, and by the time they pick them, sometimes they pick them green, so that when we get them, then they've ripened up. And then that's not vine ripened, that's ripened in a dark spot or
Right.
refrigerated. But if you get them frozen, do you know that the same day they pick them, they freeze them? So it's a 1-day process. It's on the tree, they pick it, they process it, and it's frozen. So they would be a lot better.
Yeah, that's
I
what
have
we
found a
use at
lot
our
of fruit.
house.
Yeah,
I mean, I
found-
use some fresh, but I use a lot
Yeah.
of frozen vegetables.
Yep. Now, since this is starting to thicken up, we're going to add some milk, some warm milk. And you can add as much. This is what makes it the creamy. Just add as much as you want.
We almost
See
needed a
that?
bigger pot.
I'm telling you, we needed a vat for this one, but I know this crowd really likes potatoes, so that's why I thought, well, we'll do 8 potatoes. But of course, you know, if you really, really, really like the soup, you like the flavor, you can make it, and as I said before, freeze it. You don't have to worry about oh, I made too much. Just put it in a freezer. So maybe got to get another egg there, huh?
Yeah, got
Okay.
away from me.
And we're just going to stir, keep stirring. I tell you what, this makes my mouth water because it tastes so good. And it's a good hearty, as my mom used to say, it warms your innards, you know, because it's that comfort soup that you get. It's a cold night, the wind's blowing and the snow's out there, and you get a bowl of soup and it just does something for you. It just makes you feel good inside. And that's what this soup does. Any of these soups would do that. And this is a great way to entertain. Make 4 or 5 of these, put them in the freezer, and then say to some of your friends, hey, come on over, we're going to have soup. And put out a soup buffet. What a nice way to entertain. And throw in a nice dessert. You have, I mean, that's a nice evening for people. And especially when it's cold outside and that they're looking for something to warm them up. So just give you that kind of an idea there. So what are we doing now?
Just waiting for this to boil, and then I throw my egg in.
Okay, and what's those green onions over there for?
That's just for decoration.
Is
once
that
it's done.
garnish?
Mhm.
Okay. All right. Patty, I'm
that's
going to
it.
ask you to get me, do we have cornstarch? Can we get
Yes.
some cornstarch? And I need some cold water in a little cup, because I think I want to thicken this a little bit. I think this is a little bit watery. And I think that I want to just thicken it. So if it gets too watery, when it cooks down, if it's not thick enough for you, add just a little bit of cornstarch and water, and that will thicken this up and really make it good. Sometimes if you get a real starchy potato, you don't have to do it at all. And it's just up to you. And some people like
water.
Thank you.
Cornstarch.
Thank you. Okay, you're not even boiling yet? You're
I'm
almost
just
boiling.
getting there. It's starting to
Okay.
shake.
Good. Now all I'm going to do, so I'll just take this one because that's got some stuff in it. I'm going to add some cold water, and I'm going to add some cornstarch. And this, I like cornstarch because, you know why? This absolutely dissolves the easiest of anything. It really does. And you say how much? I'd say probably a couple tablespoons. Just going to pour this out. Make sure we have it. We do. Okay? If you need more, you can always make some more. But look how quickly that, it's not like flour. Flour, you'd be stirring, stirring, stirring. But not with cornstarch. It really dissolves quickly, and it makes a nice thickening. This is called a slurry, in case you're wondering. Technical name is a slurry, because you're going to slurry this together. And then when that comes to a boil, we're going to pour that in there,
And yours looks
and
like
it'll
it's just
thicken up. Yeah, it's getting
It's
ready.
getting ready too.
It's getting ready. Got a few little onions in there. And now, in a very thin stream, you just want to start to pour.
It always amazes me how that thickens it up.
It does. And we can tell the resistance by the spoon. When you feel the spoon giving you some resistance. Can you see the difference in the texture already?
Yeah, I see a big difference.
See,
in
I
it.
wouldn't use all that because it would be too thick. Because this is a soup. It's not a stew. It's a soup. So you want that brothiness there. Okay, this is going to cook just a few more minutes. And Patty's is
getting
coming
ready.
to a boil. And then we're going to be in the dining room. And stay with us. Here's how you can get all of today's recipes and even the whole month's worth. We'll be right back.
Just go to ctvn.org/athome to get all the recipes from today's show for free. That's right, no subscriptions. They're available online at no cost, and more are being added each day. So join us at ctvn.org/athome to get today's recipes now.
So let me just tell you what we have here and what we've made. I hope you followed us today because it was a great program. Soup, 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 and more soup. First of all, this is our lasagna soup. And look at the colors in that. That is an incredible thick soup. Put a dollop of sour cream on the top. There's a bowl sitting in the front. That's how you'd want to serve it. Little fresh basil. Remember, we added about 2.5 cups of chopped fresh spinach in there right before you're ready to serve it, because that will cook that spinach enough. And then we put fresh basil on top and a dollop of sour cream. Incredible, thick, hearty soup. Little Parmesan on top, too. Excellent. Next to it is our Chinese chicken egg drop soup. And this is a nice thin soup in case you can't do the heavy soups or you don't feel like it. This you can make in 10 minutes when you get home from work if you're just hungry for some kind of a soup. Something hot because it's a cold, snowy, or rainy day. That would be wonderful. That'd be very soothing also. And of course, with any of these soups, we put a variety of crackers. You can use the little wafers. We have chunks of bread. I'm telling you, this would be excellent to go with our lasagna soup because it's nice and thick. Next to this is our creamy tomato soup. And I'm telling you, look out, Campbell's, here comes Williams. No, this is really great tomato soup. It's got that wonderful tomato flavor, piping hot. I know you're saying, where's the grilled cheese? I thought of the same thing, just didn't have time to do it. That's a great soup. We just put a few croutons on the top, which kind of gives it a crunch. I like textures when I make soup. And then last one over there, that's that potato corn chowder. I'm telling you, that's an awesome soup. That's a soup that when you make it, the family's going to be saying, Mom, would you make some more? Could you make it one more time? Mom, can we have that chunky corn soup? Can we have that? You're going to love it. One of Paul's very favorites. And there's no meat to it. There's only the chicken bouillon cubes. If you're watching, you do the vegetarian. You can't, there's no bacon flavor in that. It's just a potato flavor. And then we've added some cheese. That's an optional. You can do cheddar cheese and stir it in at the end. You could put some on top. We just add a little bit of parsley to it. This is a beautiful table full of good food It's all soup, and it's a good way to start the new year. I trust that you've got the Lord in the center of your New Year plans and all this year. Just keep him close, and be sure to join us the next time, because it just wouldn't be the same without you. We'll see you then.
Furnishings provided by Levin Furniture, featuring Lane's Country Living Collection. Food provided by Jordan Banana Company, wholesalers of fresh fruit and vegetables in Trevosburg, Pennsylvania.
Don't forget to click the subscribe button so you'll never miss another episode of At Home. Thank you for watching.
Cornerstone Television wishes to thank all our faithful viewers whose consistent prayers and financial support have made this program possible.